Welcome to the Existential Empath Podcast. My name is Tanya and I am an intuitive empath. My intention is to share valuable tips, tools, and techniques that I have learned so you can tap into your own inner healer naturally and intuitively. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanya and I help people tap into their inner healer naturally and intuitively. So I was out taking a walk this morning and I kind of got this overwhelming feeling that I needed to make a video about where our emotions get trapped in our body and how they get trapped in our body. So I've been working with a lot of clients lately and it seems like there's a theme that seems to keep coming up, and a lot of it has to do with grief. And I have been noticing that they are having certain ailments or problems in a particular area of the body. And so, part of my training as being an EFT practitioner and an emotion code practitioner is knowing how to assess or figure out what emotion is trapped in the body and where it is trapped in the body. So we don't learn much about our energetic system in school. We learn about the circulatory system, the muscular system, and a whole bunch of different systems, but we don't learn much about the energetic system. And the energetic system is so vital to our existence that it's kind of crazy that we don't learn much about it. So as our energy is kind of pushed out from our body, or it expands out, it actually can interact with others around us. We have several different kind of aspects to our energetic system. You've got your chakras, which we have the 7 main chakras, and we actually have more than that, but the main ones that are taught are the 7 main chakras. So you've got the root chakra, which is just in between your legs, and that's where you have your sense of self, your sense of security, your sense of grounding. Then you have your sacral chakra, which is in the reproductive area. So that's where your creativity lies, your sexuality, your pleasure. Then you've got your solar plexus, which is right in your abdominal area. That's where your gut instinct lies. And then you move up to your heart chakra, which is where love and compassion, understanding, unconditional love is. And then you move up to your throat, where your throat chakra is. That's where you, find your own voice, where you actually speak out as to who you are and find your authentic self. And then we move up to the third eye chakra, which is right there right between your eyebrows. And that's where your pineal gland is. That is opening you up to your intuition, your higher self, your inner knowledge, your inner compass, your inner GPS. And then right above your head, you have your crown chakra, which opens you up to spirituality and, expansion to the universe and to God and all of those things that are outside of our own personal body. So when we have those different chakras and they can become out of alignment, and each one of those chakras holds different emotions and different energy centers within them. And each one correlates to a color and a feeling. And when they are not balanced, they can really mess with the other chakras as well. We also have like kind of rivers of energy that run through us that are called meridians. And those meridians can get clogged, kind of like a drain, with our trapped emotions or feelings or anything that we are not processing or letting go of. So we may be processing it from a physical standpoint, but we need to process it from an emotional, mental, and spiritual standpoint as well. And if we aren't releasing or clearing those emotions, then that energy can get lodged in there and it can manifest in a physical way. So 9 times out of 10, when you have a physical symptom, it is something that you manifested a long time ago in your emotional body that you didn't really process, or maybe you stuffed it down back into your subconscious mind. But the subconscious mind is like a vast computer system, so it's already kind of back there running those programs. And as humans, we pick up these programs. Between the time we were born and the age of 6, we are in a state of absorbing and observing. So when we are observing everyone around us, our parents, our teachers, the environment, our grandparents, whoever it may be, we are learning how to be human beings, right? We are learning how to function in society. So oftentimes the programs that we are running as adults, we have picked up between the time we were born and the age of 6. And some of those programs are outdated, just like a computer. You remember back in gosh, I don't even know. It was back in the 80s. We were playing Oregon Trail on this old school computer, hitting the arrow key, go little horsey, I don't want tuberculosis, keep going, right? Some of us are still running those programs in our mind. And if we aren't updating to the new, iPhone, latest version, then we're still running old school Oregon Trail in the back of our mind, and it's still affecting us, and it's making us not run efficiently, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So as we, have these emotions that kind of bubble up to the surface, it's important to consciously become aware of what is that feeling. As a society, we've all been taught to not feel or to not express our feelings, to stuff it down, to hold it in. But all that's doing is clogging our meridians and clogging our chakras. It's like we need to go in there with some serious rotor-rooter action and clear that stuff out, because it's causing problems in our physical body. I was working with one particular client, and she came in, she had COPD in her lungs. And as we were going through, I was kind of asking her some questions. I was muscle testing through the questions to see, where her emotions were and where those feelings were. And she started to come upon a particular experience that she had when her mom was in the hospital. She was on a ventilator, and she witnessed her mom kind of choking and having a difficult time breathing. And at that time, she personally began to have a fear of choking and suffocating. Well, I began to ask her, is that right about the time when you started to notice some of your bronchial issues and your COPD, flaring up? And she said, honestly, yeah, it was right after my mom died. So what we found out, going a little bit deeper, is that she had a fear of not being able to breathe, that fear of choking. And it was causing a flare-up of her COPD and her bronchial tubes. And she's been getting pneumonia year after year after year. So tapping through that experience on the acupressure points and on the meridians was able to move that fear of suffocation out of her energetic system to help alleviate some of that, those symptoms of the COPD. After we got through it, she was able to breathe a lot better. We were able to release some of those emotions around her mom's death. And it actually became very healing for both her and me, because the neat thing about the EFT tapping and the emotion code is that not only am I working on you guys, but I'm also working on myself too. So it's really cool how the universe kind of aligns people together. So if there's something going on in my life and I'm working with a client, it's so uncanny how things will come up to the surface. And I'm like, gosh, I was just struggling with that last week, and now I'm working with someone who's having the same problem, and I'm able to help them through that process. So as we began to move through that with that particular client, she began to feel lighter and freer. And, I'm kind of looking forward to the winter months to see how she gets through that, because usually that's when she says she gets a flare up is right around January. So if she gets a flare up, then I told her, give me a ring, we'll do another session and we'll move through that. I also had another situation with a family member. We were getting ready to take a picture, and I noticed that she kind of stood back behind everyone and wanted people to get in front of her, and she didn't really want a whole full body shot. And this is a woman who is, I would say, probably in her late 60s, and she's very thin and very fit looking. And after the picture, I kind of mentioned to her, why were you standing behind everybody? Why didn't you want to be in the picture? And she kind of clammed up a little bit, and intuitively, I just kind of got this knowing that did someone pick on your weight when you were a kid? And she immediately started to tear up. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I hit a trigger point here. And she started to share a story with me that when she was a child, her mom would dress her in these dresses and tell her that she was overweight and that she needed to lose weight, and she, was fat and all of these things. And this woman has run this program in the back of her mind since the time she was 8 years old, and now she's in her late 60s, and she's still hiding behind people in pictures. This is just a prime example of how we attach ourselves to these outdated programs in our life, and we need to acknowledge those, bring them to the surface, and move them out. So I told her when, she gets home to give me a ring, and we can work on that. We can definitely work on that particular experience of when her mom said that to her, what feelings she had as a child, and how we can move past that, because those are things that, have obviously affected her for majority of her life. So, as we begin to have these particular physical symptoms in our body, it's important to ask ourselves, emotionally, where did we pick this trait up, and when did we pick this trait up? Our body speaks to us so literally. So if you guys follow my YouTube channel, you know that I've been trying a lot of different natural healing modalities, because I've been suffering with some lower back pain in my lower lumbar area, as well as my sacroiliac joints. Well, the emotions that get trapped in the lower back are the feeling of being unsupported, whether that be, personally with people around you and connections, or financially. My personal life, I just recently, about 5 months ago, picked up and moved from the state of Florida to Washington all by myself, kind of on a whim. It was something that I was feeling guided to do. I moved out here, and the first 2 months, there was some pretty bad snowstorms, and I kind of got stuck, and I didn't have snow tires, and I wasn't able to get out of my home. So I couldn't get groceries. I had to have things delivered, and I was feeling very unsupported. I was feeling, oh my gosh, I'm all by myself. I can't even get, basic needs like water and food. And I trapped that emotion in my lower back. And I have been working on releasing those emotions, both through EFT and the emotion code, as well as other physical modalities like visceral manipulation and float tanks and massage. The body speaks to us so literally. So if you're having a pain in a certain area, ask yourself, what does that body part do for me? What exactly does that body part do for me? So for me, my back, it supports me, right? It holds me up. It helps me stand up straight. And I was feeling like I couldn't stand up straight. I couldn't stand up for myself. I couldn't get out and do the independent things that I need to do, just like, the basic needs of getting food and water. And I was feeling highly unsupported. Each of our organs trap certain types of emotions as well. So, maybe you're having an issue in your throat area, your thyroid, or your thymus, or those areas. Are you not speaking up for yourself? Are you holding something in? Is someone doing something to you that may be agitating you, and you're just biting your tongue and holding it in? Well, when you don't speak your truth, or you don't speak up for, who you are or what your feelings are, it's going to get trapped there, and it's going to cause some imbalance and some disharmony in that area. Maybe you're having some issues with your liver or your gallbladder. What are you holding on to that's making you angry or bitter? So anger lies in the liver. They say, that person is an angry drunk, right? So when you drink alcohol, it settles in the liver, because the liver is the filtration system in the body, and that emotion gets trapped in there and can cause anger to be stuck in that particular organ. The gallbladder, bitterness, resentment. So if you've got gallstones, ask yourself, what are you bitter about? Who are you resentful towards? Those are things that you want to eliminate, those emotions and those feelings. When it comes to the kidneys, okay, so the kidneys hold on to fear. What are you afraid of? Are you having some urinary issues? Are you having maybe some kidney stones? What are you fearful in your life? What is terrifying you? Those are the things that you may need to face. And if you book a session with me, we work through these things. You know, we kind of, we either tap through them, or I can do the muscle testing and use the process of the emotion code to help bring these emotions to the surface to be released. So a lot of these emotions are trapped in our subconscious mind. We don't even know that they're running. We think we've moved past this stuff. We think that it's something that we let go when we were, you know, in our teens, but really it's not. It still can have some residual programming in there. So think of it, you know, as very literal. Like I said, the body is an alarm system. So by the time the body is having all of these symptoms rise to the surface, you've already manifested this a long time ago through your thoughts. So you could be, you know, like I was living in Florida. I was very unhappy. I knew that I needed to make some changes in my life. And I was, you know, really circulating these negative thoughts in my mind at the time. And now I'm manifesting these types of things in my lower back. And I have an understanding of that because now I'm consciously aware that what I was manifesting a year ago in my emotional and mental body is now, you know, making its way known into my physical body. So when you have an understanding of that's kind of the process that it takes, then you can kind of think of, well, you know, how, you know, what was happening to me a year or two ago that would have caused this? You know, what ailment am I feeling that this particular body part may be, you know, having some disharmony in and can't really balance it out. So those are the types of things that we work on when we have a session, and you can actually work on these things on yourself too. So it's just a lot of it is being consciously aware of it. So if you have this subconscious thought in your mind, and thoughts are so strong and they can make such an impact. So our thoughts create energy, and if we are constantly focusing on the pain, on the suffering, on how much it hurts, then we are putting energy towards that pain, right? And I know, believe me, I have been 2 months ago in an excruciating pain in my lower back. It was just like I was on fire. And I get it. When you're in pain, it's really hard to focus on something else. I get it. Oh my gosh. But if you can try your best to do it, spend some time with some family, get out and do something that brings you joy, that gives you a distraction away from the pain. You know, try to do something to get your mind off of the pain if you can, because the more that you take your energy away from the pain, the more your body will begin to move that energy out, and it will begin to heal on its own. So that's what I kind of wanted to get out. I wanted to get out, you know, that story and that information, because I'm hoping that some of this information will help some of you in getting through whatever situation you may be going through. And maybe you're stuck or stagnant in an area in your life, and you need to start moving some of that energy out. And if you can really just think literally, you know, about what does my body do for me, and what does this particular, you know, thing do? The arm, you know, are you having an elbow issue? What does the elbow do? The elbow helps you bend. Okay. Are you being flexible in your life? Is there something that you're being, you know, are you being stuck? Are you being, you know, not being flexible in an area of your life? Then look at that area of your life and try to work on it. Try to become more flexible. You will begin to see that your elbow pain will start to diminish. Maybe you're suffering from some knee pain. What do the knees help us do? They help us bend, right? So what areas in your life are you not bending? Are you being very adamant that this is how it has to be? Are you being a perfectionist? Are you being very, you know, everything in your life has to be super perfect and super, you know, according to your plan? That can affect your knees because you're not bending. You're not allowing that free-flowing energy to flow through you. You're trying to control everything. So these are just some examples of ways that you know, you can kind of think literally to help alleviate some of those pains in your life, and then you go back and work on the emotional aspect of it. So if you guys are interested in booking a session, you can visit my website, and I've got different types of sessions on there, so we can book an emotion code session, or if you want to go a little bit deeper into your healing, then we can definitely do an EFT tapping session. So As always, I ask you guys to get outside, go walk around. The best thing that you can do to move some stagnant energy out of your body is to move. Get out, go for a walk, leave your phone in the car, activate your senses, listen to the birds, look at the vibrant colors, get out there and move your body, get that energy moving, get those meridians, those rivers flowing with that energy. That's the best thing that you can do, and your soul will love you for it. You deserve to navigate your life in alignment with health, happiness, and abundance. To learn more about the services that I provide, including Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, EFT tapping, and the Emotion Code, visit my website at www.theexistentialempath.com.